Thoughts on Linguistic States by Babasaheb Ambedkar. Chapter 7, Part 3. The Position of the City of Bombay. The Bombay city is an area which is a subject matter of controversy. The controversy has become very acute. Maharashtrians want the city to be a part of Maharashtra. Gujaratis want the city to be a separate state. Heads have been broken over the controversy, but there has been no agreement. It is therefore necessary to go to the root of the matter. The Gujaratis do not claim Bombay city is their own, but will not let go their hold on it. They claim a sort of easement over it by reason of the fact that they control the trade and industry of the city. The issue is, should it become part of Maharashtra or should it be constituted into a separate state? The Gujaratis and Maharashtrians are sharply divided on the issue. The Maharashtrians want that Bombay should become exclusively a part of the new Maharashtra state. The Gujaratis are stoutly opposed to it. They have presented two alternatives. One alternative is not to break up the existing bilingual state of Bombay into two linguistic units of Gujarat and Maharashtra. The Congress Working Committee's decision is to make the city of Bombay into a separate state. The Gujaratis are happy. The Maharashtrians are naturally angry. The resentment of the Maharashtrians is well justified. The arguments urged against the claim of the Maharashtrians have no force at all. The first argument that is urged is that the Marathi speaking population of Bombay city does not form a majority of the total population of the city. The total population of Bombay city is very large. Marathi speaking population is 48%. Those who use this kind of argument do not seem to realize the weakness of it. The total Marathi population of Bombay city is no doubt less than 50%, but it has to be valued against two factors. One is that geographically no one can deny that Bombay is a part of Maharashtra even if the Maharashtrians are in a minority in the city. Even Mr. Morarji Desai admitted in the course of his speech in the meeting of the Gujarat Pradesh Congress Committee that Bombay is a part of Maharashtra. The second point to be taken into consideration in valuing the population factor is the continued influx of population from the rest of India who come to Bombay either for making profits or for earning their bread. None of them regard Bombay as their home. They should not therefore be counted as permanent residents of Bombay city. Many come for a few months and go back. Bombay is a home only to the Maharashtrians and none else. It is not therefore logical or fair to count the non-Maharashtrians for the purpose of coming to the conclusion as to who form the majority of population in the Bombay city. Again, it is not realized that the increase in the non-Marathi speaking people in the Bombay city is due to the absence of a local law restricting citizenship. If Bombay state had such a law, all this influx into Bombay from all parts of India could have been shut out and the Maharashtrians majority retained. It is also not realized that the influx of the non-Maharashtrians in Bombay is due to the fact that Bombay is a port and it is a port on the western coast. The route from Europe to Bombay is much shorter than the route from Europe to Calcutta or Europe to Madras. That is why a large number of poor people from other parts of India leave their homes and come to Bombay as temporary residents. It is easier to find a job in Bombay than elsewhere. Really speaking, the matter has to be looked at from a different point of view. People have been coming to Bombay for the last 200 years or so. Yet, this influx has not reduced the Maharashtrian population in the city below 48%. After 200 years, the bedrock of its population remains Maharashtrian in its composition. This is due to the migratory character of city. The Gujaratis are migratory population. There are also other arguments which could be urged in favor of allowing Bombay to remain as a part of Maharashtra. Bombay is not the only composite city in India. Calcutta and Madras are also composite cities. If Calcutta can be a part of West Bengal and Madras can be a part of Madras state, what objection can there be to Bombay being part of Maharashtra? This is the question that every Maharashtrian will ask. I see no answer to this question. The only answer that comes to one's mind is that the Congress High Command thinks that Maharashtrians are unfit to rule others. This is a slur on the Maharashtrian character and they will not tolerate it. It is said that Bombay has been built up by the capital belonging to non-Maharashtrians. That may be so, but has Madras been built by the capital of Madrasis? Has capital in Calcutta been built by the capital of Bengalis? Without the capital of Europeans, Madras and Calcutta would have been villages. Then why urge this point against the Maharashtrians when they claim Bombay to themselves? Maharashtrians have at least contributed labour without which Bombay could not have been what it is. It must also be remembered that the lifelines of Bombay lie in Maharashtra. The source of its electricity, water, all supplies lie in Maharashtra. The source of its labour lie in Maharashtra. Maharashtra can at any time make the city of Bombay Mohenjo-daro, a city of the dead. The Gujarati population is filled with fear that Maharashtrians will practice discrimination against them. But under our constitution, discrimination is not possible for the reason that the constitution contains a list of fundamental rights and remedies by way of writs from the High Court and Supreme Court, which can immediately provide redress for a wrong. For every wrong of a discriminative character, there is a remedy provided by the constitution. Why should the Gujaratis have any fear? Let us now consider what benefit the Gujaratis are going to get from Bombay being made a separate city-state. Their population in the Bombay state is only 10%. How many seats can they get in the Bombay state city legislature? Not even 10%. How can 10% protect their clients against 90%? It must be remembered that the feelings between the Maharashtrians and the Gujaratis would hereafter be running high as never before. A Maharashtrian will not vote for a Gujarati candidate, and a Gujarati voter will not vote for a Maharashtrian candidate. Hitherto, the Gujaratis have been able to plough the sands of Maharashtra with their money. But money may not succeed once self-respect is aroused. The Gujaratis must consider whether goodwill is not a better protection than a paltry share in the government of the city. While the case of Maharashtra is as strong as steel, there are some points on the other side which they must not fail to consider in their anger. They want Bombay to be within Maharashtra. But the question which they must consider is, what do they want? Do they want prosperous Bombay or do they want a decadent Bombay? Can Bombay be prosperous under Maharashtra? This, in other words, means, can Maharashtra provide the capital necessary for the growing trade and industry of the city? No Maharashtrian can answer this question in the affirmative. The Maharashtrians may be able to supply the need for capital after a course of years, but certainly not now. The second point is, what would be the effective on the standard of living of Maharashtrians living in Bombay if the city's prosperity declines either by flight of capital or removal of business houses? The Maharashtrians must not forget, however it may hurt their pride, that they are a nation of clerks and coolies. What employment can they get in a declining city? The Maharashtrian should consider the question of Bombay from this point of view. There is a saying which says, there is also another reason why Bombay city should be made a separate state. The minorities and the scheduled castes who are living in the village are constantly subjected to tyranny, oppression, and even murders by the members of the majority communities. The minorities need an asylum, a place of refuge where they can be free from the tyranny of the majority. If there was a united Maharashtra with Bombay included in it, where can they go for safety? The same tyranny was practiced over the Brahmins, Marwadis, and Gujaratis living in the villages when Godse killed Mr. Gandhi. All the Brahmins, Marwadis, and Gujaratis who were once living in villages ran away and are now living in towns and forgetting their experiences and shouting for a united Maharashtra after having reached a safe harbour. It seems to me that Maharashtrians will do well to accept the decision of the Congress High Command for the time being. The Maharashtrians need have no fear of losing Bombay. Nobody can dispossess Maharashtrians of Bombay. Much less can there be any ouster of them by anybody. The real objection to the creation of Bombay as a separate state arises from the fact that the name Bombay does not carry within it the sense that it is a part of Maharashtra. It is to remove this objection that I propose that the new state of Bombay should be renamed by another name, which will carry on its face the word Maharashtra. Supposing, in terms of this suggestion, instead of saying that Bombay be made a separate state, it is said that Maharashtra be divided into four states, that is, Maharashtra city state, which is Bombay city, Western Maharashtra, Central Maharashtra, and Eastern Maharashtra, what objection can there be to the creation of a separate state of Bombay? This also involves the separation of Bombay. With this change in the name of the city, I like to know which Maharashtrian can raise objection to the creation of Bombay as a separate city-state on the ground that this scheme separates Bombay from Maharashtra. To say that Bombay be made a separate state is merely stating that Maharashtra be divided into four states. If there is no objection to Maharashtra being divided into two or three states, what objection can there be to Maharashtra being divided into four? I can see none. For the sake of similarity in language, I propose that Calcutta be called Bengal city state and Madras be called Tamil city state. This is one proposal which I make to ease the tension between the Maharashtrians and the Gujaratis. The Maharashtra city-state will be a surplus state. Those who are wanting united Maharashtra with Bombay are hoping to get the benefit of this surplus from Maharashtra. The surplus revenue of the city-state arises because of the property tax and the electricity tax. Can the revenue from these two sources be appropriated by Maharashtra if Bombay becomes a separate city-state? Nothing can be done to take away the yield of the property tax from the Bombay City State property tax. It is a local tax on local situated property. The state within which the property is situated is entitled to the yield of the tax. With regard to the electricity tax, the situation is different. When Gujarat and Maharashtra are separated, and they must be, Gujarat will claim the revenue derived from city produced and consumed within Gujarat. Maharashtra will claim the revenue derived from electricity produced and consumed within Maharashtra. Bombay City as a state will do the same. Can Bombay be allowed to do so and appropriate the revenue to itself? Is it just? Bombay City does not produce electricity. It is produced outside Bombay City in Maharashtra. Therefore, the new Bombay City has no right to appropriate to itself the whole revenue derived from electricity. The proper thing to do is to apply the principle of the segregation of the sources and division of the yield well known to all students of state finance. To put it in concrete shape, let the center take over the taxation of electricity and divide the yield among the four states of Maharashtra, Bombay, Western Maharashtra, Central Maharashtra, and Eastern Maharashtra according to their needs. It will also ease the financial strain that the three Maharashtras are likely to suffer on account of the separation of Bombay. The end.